Hello everybody, just want to give a shout out here on the Cervigard, how this device actually works and how it helps people with CCI and especially reverse curve. The magic is right here. Well, really it's everywhere, but we'll get into that. Here I am. So this is me wearing the Cervigard, and to give you a little a little bit about the device and how it actually helps with two things. Primarily, the main thing of this is fixing reverse curve and spinal lordosis to get that back. And that's the two things here is that you have the traction going inward, and then you have the lordosis in the back here, and all adjustable, which is fascinating because some people can't even handle very much at a time. And I started off around number 4 on the click, and it didn't take that long for me to actually get full all the way through. And the benefits of this, of course, is that it really does kind of stabilize you, especially when you have like instability. There's a lot of things we can't do with cervical instability, and it's a real doozy of a thing because you just bend down just to pick something off the floor. You know what it's like. Your skull is too heavy. You feel that kind of sliding or grinding, maybe a clunking noise or whatever when you come back up, and you actually get excruciatingly miserable. So if I have to do things, and that's the problem with this life, is people expect us not to do something. We have to. And it's like, whether it's laundry, picking something off the floor, just getting shoes on. So this actually helps. Even though I have CCI, I would have to toss AAI in there. So watch this. Now when I get down, the pressure here is keeping my skull with the lordosis knob. I can bend down and I can pick something up, and I don't hear that grinding and that sliding that really kind of makes me miserable. So that being said, being that this is a very unedited video and there's a lot of noise around me and it's driving me nuts, so this has been very, very helpful, and it's very identifiable in X-ray for a lot of patients who actually got healed and they've had CCI, and I'm sorry, they have had just a reverse curve, but they didn't have CCI, and it actually cured them, and they just had to work on their posture and muscles and lifestyle afterwards. But those with CCI, unfortunately, you have to definitely get this reviewed with a CBP chiropractor, because they're the ones who mainly use this. You can find a CBP chiropractor on idealspine. I want to say org or .biz. No, the business is where they sell this, but you can't buy one. It has to go through a provider. So CBP Chiros or through CCI Fund, we'll be able to actually buy them for you. But the key is having this reviewed with a CBP chiropractor who can actually ensure that you're not overusing it, using it incorrectly, making sure that you look fine in it, even under X-ray. And I looked beautiful under X-ray. I would prefer to see what it looks like under CT, cone beam CT scan. That way you get the 3-dimensional to check each facet joint. Now, only Blair chiropractors tend to have the CBCTs, but I am not a big fan of Blair Chiropractic because of the thrusting toggle way of adjusting. I'm more of a fan of Atlas Orthogonal and CBP Chiropractor. CBP only in the concepts of traction and muscle work, not in the thrusting, because they do still use drop table. They may use certain devices that may lay over between C2, probably around C2, C3, like the L-Spa. Great device, but for CCI, it's just going to make you worse because of the pressure that goes against the head. So this has been very helpful, especially because of having reverse curve. You really put a major risk on, of course, your jugular veins here, and then that can also, they can get occluded, especially if C1 sliding forward. This will actually pull that pressure off, and as well as open up right here at the styloid and make you feel like you're normal. And right now I feel normal when I'm wearing this. The other part to this is, if you are terrified of fusion, like everyone should be, but some people are like, give it to me, and bless them. However, here is, I'm going to take a seat, how this can actually give you an understanding of how cranial fusion feels. Because of this being locked in and the lordosis knob, I can't turn my head, and I only have this much movement, and even this is probably more than anyone could move in fusion, but I can't turn anything. And this is exactly how those with cranial fusion have to turn. Everything's all about like C3 and lower, or C4 really, C4, 5 lower, and all of the shoulder and neck and torso. So it does give you an idea what it's like. So if you are told you need fusion, this might give you an idea on how it might feel. And it is an unfortunate psychological thing. You might need to get yourself prepared for that type of lifestyle. Or really just an Aspen collar is really just as good to know that. However, I'm always about a 4-tier system, which you'll be learning. The CCI Fund, we're going to be putting so much more content. The website's going to be up and fully functional. We'll have a map to all the professionals who actually know what they're doing. The criteria is very strict. In my medical background, the things I've learned were actually wrong. And me now having this, I went back to the science of it all and tried to understand it based on how I feel, and I'm understanding a lot. Because there's people walking around with curves like crazy and they're fine. So where's the problem? Suboccipital, posterior occipital membrane, PAOM, rectus capitis muscles, all those muscles here, those are probably the bigger proprioceptors, and that's where we get the dizziness, the swaying, the pain, the crunching, the sliding, the grinding. And so that being said, I'm going to start walking around aimlessly for no reason. I will be interviewing the doctor who invented this. He will be able to hopefully do a live, and he can ask all the questions. Stay tuned mainly for the why a CCI Fund. What are we about? Who are we? I think I gave that answer right now, is that we're just people who suffered and have a skill set that, hey, this thing took me out of working for a living, and I got stuff in my head that I could use to benefit others, and so likely you probably too have a great skill that can actually assist in growing this, and eventually we're hopefully to get donors, and that will pay for these devices for you. That will pay for your regenerative medicine. It will pay for your conservative treatment. It will hopefully get to that point. And unfortunately, in the end result, we know that fusion bankrupts everybody. We'll hopefully get to support that to a large degree, but that is the main goal. So a lot more official videos coming up. Now I want to show you a little bit of something here outside of the device. So these knobs, I come about to the third one and then take it off on the other side, and I'm going to look like a rosy-cheeked clown. And now if someone saw me right now, I would look perfectly normal. I feel normal right now when I'm outside of the collar. Problem with, of course, CCI is that these muscles again are going to start getting tired. Right now I'm in that perfect curve. My ears are over my shoulders. I'm not hunched forward. I couldn't do it right now if I wanted to because it would not feel good. My legs feel not less queasier. My back feels a little bit better, but now I can already feel myself twisting in the improper position. I could right now bend down and I actually feel no problem. I felt a slight little irritation, so it just tells me that there's more of a tissue problem. So could there likely be, and based on my theories, I'm thinking that how can regenerative medicine and the aspects of hopefully the tissue will find those free floating fibers, connect and pull your neck back for you. I think those habits have been kind of locked in, and I think that's where we need the external help. And that way these tissues don't have to struggle to pull things back. It's going to be there already to help us to pull it back. So a lot of things that I can't do is sit down in a hard chair for too long and I start grinding, my TMJ starts to come back, and that is when misery sets in. Look at my cheeks. I think that's about it. So this is when I sit down and I normally feel more blood flow pressure, more occipital tension pressure. And I can already feel now right around that DENS, that C2 area, it's getting tension, more tension's building up, it's starting to build pressure. So you see the benefits and how the Cervigard actually helped. It's a great device. I love it. Some may not like it, depending on your instability again too, because that lordosis that's pressing in, if you have a massive slippage here going backwards, then that pushing back may not feel good for you. I have that, but I think it's because it's equal pressure, it's stabilizing a little bit better. It's because these joints are actually okay. I'm probably less symptomatic than most people because all my problems are right here, primarily right-sided. So thank you for your time. I'm glad you all joined, and hopefully we'll get more into action and treatment as opposed to support. Let's try to get better. Let's try to make it happen. So thank you, and we'll talk soon. We will have a lot more content coming your way, a lot of stuff to help us get through this. Take care.